time for Mind Over Money, a newly branded weekly broadcast by two of today's up-and-coming internet marketers involved with My Lead System Pro, Leland Best and Julie Becker. With their fresh insights, you'll discover that it's not so much about the money as it is the mind over the money. So with that being said, let's move on with today's topic for discussion. Today on Mind Over Money, we meet with Justice Eagan as he tells us how he went from restaurant manager to networking guru and how he's building new leaders in the MLSP 100-Day Challenge. Let's tune into our show, already in progress. Let me just go out to the folks out there live. Today we are Julie Becker and Leland Best at Mind Over Money. Sorry, folks. We're doing another broadcast here today with a couple of members from MLSP, Justice Eagan and Adam Chandler. Going to pick their brains a little bit today on their mindsets, and we'll put them in a position out there to be a couple of the top dog leaders at MLSP who have taken on a 100-day challenge and trying to, I think we have about 200 plus people out there, don't we, Justice?
On the 100-day challenge, yeah, I want to say there was about 230 people that committed in time to get into the 100-day challenge. Not sure. I forget if that includes before we did reopen it for a very short period of time there and gave everybody in the challenge the assignment to go out and promote. So I don't remember if that was the number previous to that or after, but it's a significant group, but it's still small enough and intimate enough that it's filled with serious people, the right people. You know, it just wasn't, doors open to everybody, you know.
Yeah, it was definitely a closed deal, and while we've got you here solo, Justice, you're over in New Jersey, right?
I am, Clinton, New Jersey, yeah.
All right. Yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, what you like to do, and we'll be waiting for Adam to show up. Hopefully, if he doesn't, within the next 5 minutes, we'll just carry on with you and finish this interview.
Absolutely. Gladly answer any questions, and I can speak partially on behalf of Adam when it comes to the 100-day Biz Builder stuff because, we've worked so closely before and into the 100-day Biz Builder. I am, I live up here in Jersey. This is where I was born and raised. I spent about 8 years up in South Rhode Island where I went to college. I went to University of Rhode Island and just stayed up there, tried to drag out those college years, live by the beach, have some fun. And for that reason, I was up there until I was about 24 years old. I was really a slow starter. And one day I had this moment where I just looked around and I said, okay, I'm in the restaurant business, and all these people that I've known for all these years up here are still behind this bar or working in this restaurant or doing that. And I had this moment where I was like, okay, well, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the road, is this where I want to be? And if so, great. But if not, you got to make a change now. You know what I mean? Like, this will catch up fast. And so I looked around and I decided that I needed to make a change. I moved down here to Jersey. I got busy. Really, pursued hospitality management, and I wanted to be a superstar in the hospitality industry. That's what I wanted. I wanted restaurant ownership. I wanted to run the best operations. I really was going for it, and I gave my life away in exchange for pursuing that dream. I was working at clubs, and I was doing, in the golf season, I was doing like 80, 85-hour weeks, working 20, 30 days straight sometimes. And, it just, I thought I was doing it right. I realize now in reflection, actually, that the only purpose I worked so much because that's where I felt like I had value. I had value to give. It was like that everything else, it didn't matter. I always had the excuse. All I do is work. And one day after doing that for God knows how many years, after working really hard for about, I want to say it was about 5-6 years, five plus years, at 2 different management positions. I got multiple promotions, doubled my salary, bought a house, everything was like A-okay. And then things started getting bad in the economy. A little more pressure came on at work, and all of a sudden, one day I lost my job for the first time ever in my life, and
Yeah. I don't mean to cut you off, Justice, but I just want to, because you're kind of trailing into a question I'm sure Julie's going to ask, but I just wanted to say, I've been in your shoes. I was out on the DJ scene for a while doing my public promotions for, country singers and things like that. Well, no, wait, those are karaoke singers. But no, I did have a couple of, up and coming people who actually cut albums, and I was up there doing my thing, and that was really a side job. I was earning my six-figure income doing engineering work, and the bottom fell out from under us. So, I know what that feeling is to lose everything you got going for you. I was in that $300,000 house and what have you, and it all got tossed away in a divorce. So Julie wanted to touch on you, though, because you're kind of walking into that concept of your why. So,
absolutely, absolutely. And I love your story, Justice, and how you're getting into that, because this is such a familiar story with us, people that gravitate towards network marketing and really getting that taste of and that realization of, man, I'm trading all my time for this money, and people don't put a high enough value on their time. So I really, one of the things I really would love to know, and you're walking right into that, because you obviously know how to tell this story, but is your why? What drove you to get into this and to segue into the marketing world? Did you have any reservations at first? Were you were afraid? I mean, this kind of business, you have to have a big why, because let's be honest here, it's not for everybody. It's hard work. It does take effort, but you can leverage your time, which is why we gravitate towards it. What is your why that keeps driving you and pushing you forward?
Well, interestingly, it has changed over time. Okay, and I know that everybody that's always a big thing. Everybody says you got to find your why, right? You got to get in there. You got to tap into it, and your why actually has to change, in my belief. And at the beginning, your why is not just enough. Everybody wants something more. Everybody wants more money, more time, freedom. You really, you have to find that why, and then you have to grow it. It's got to become about more things. Initially, it was having that realization. Hey, I don't want to do this anymore. Right? Like, I gave up every birthday, every holiday, every this, that, the other, every Mother's Day here, and now I'm broke. How did this happen? Like that was supposed to produce for me. Those sacrifices were supposed to produce something, And so when I found myself in that situation, I watched myself go more and more broke. I was a waiter. I wasn't making enough money to pay the mortgage, do all this different stuff. So I was just going further and further into debt. So initially, my why was really pain motivated. It was all about, I've got to solve my problem. And that's an okay why to start with. I don't think anybody can start there until they take responsibility for their problems. First and foremost, it was like my aha moment is when I said, wait a second, okay, it wasn't the economy's fault, it wasn't this, it wasn't that, it wasn't, my roommate, it wasn't my boss, it was... I'm here because of me, okay? I'm here because of decisions I made up to this point, and that was like the turning point for me. So from there, it was like, okay, if I can take responsibility for what happened, I can now take responsibility for what I do moving forward and the outcomes. And so the initial why was really, I've got to solve my problem. I've got to get out of debt. I've got to pay the bills. I've got to stay in this house. I've got to fix my financial situation. Okay, and I've got to get out of the restaurant business, which I just recently was able to do, and it was all pain at that point. But the problem with that, and what I noticed is as I had successes, small and large, the pain would fade. Okay, you get a cash injection, right? And all of a sudden it's like, hey, I've got a little money here, and the motivation to keep pressing and pushing, it fades with it immediately. It's natural. It happens to everybody. And so this is why I see so many people go up and down on this roller coaster. They get results that they've been striving for, and then as soon as they have that satisfaction and the pain of not having whatever it was, results, money, etc., fades a little bit. Their motivation fades with it. So my why started there, but it has now become something bigger than that. It's about everybody. It's about you guys. It's about helping other people find their own power through my story, through me leading by example, through my successes. And when other people start when you put yourself in a position where your why is about your family, about time with my niece, about inspiring my friends, about inspiring people that I haven't even met yet, okay, then you can maintain that, because there's always that new person coming in, because there's always that person waiting for you on a call or needing your help or needing to hear your story or your coaching or whatever. So, I mean, I'm not a fancy car kind of guy, you know. I'd love to live in a big house, but I don't. It's not going to make or break my level of happiness, how content I am with life. It really started with just solving my own problems, taking responsibility, and then being able to, once I experienced a little joy from that and the satisfaction, I said other people need to feel this, and I need to share my story and help other people, you know, those that are willing to take action get there. And so now my why is really, it goes beyond me.
And I love that you said that, because that's one thing that I find, and that's one thing I really do love about the MLSP community, is there's that, yes, you know, we all have other businesses and we are working to, you know, provide for our families and provide for a different way of life. But in the MLSP community, and what I really love about that is that the people that are in this community really are thinking about, how can I impact other people's lives? How can I make a difference? What other ways can I get out there and share my talents with the world? I mean, this is how people in this group think, and it's amazing. And that's I'm just so glad that you went and talked about that and expounded on, you know, growing your why, because I think that's so hugely important. You know, we don't live in a vacuum. You know, everything that we do impacts other people, and you know, it's so much bigger than ourselves. So I'm so glad that you went there, because it really is a great community.
People need to realize that they're not going to. I'm sorry, Leland. People need to realize that they're not going to they're not going to have the breakthroughs until they make it, even on a prospecting level. Until you make it prospect first, until it stops becoming about making your first sale or your first dollar or your first this, until it becomes about solving other people's problems, you're going to stay stuck. So you have to find a way to genuinely take interest in the well-being of the people around you, almost before yourself. You know what I mean? That's where the breakthroughs come from. Sorry, Leland, I cut you off there.
No, you're fine. This is why they put you on the MLSP wake-up calls in the morning, because you can fill an entire 15 minutes in one breath, I think. That's how we do things around here. And that's all good. I really just wanted people to get to see and know who you are face to face, because, you know, us being even in this 100-day Biz Builder challenge, you know, it's not as though everybody in this group is a newbie. There are a bunch of them who have never done network marketing before in their lives, and me included. I wasn't necessarily an internet marketer, but I've been using the internet most of my life to run my online and home-based businesses. So I've got a good feel for what the people are like out here, and I deal with these people on a regular basis. But what I'm finding is, like you mentioned, you really have to start rock bottom with the foundation of who you are. And once you recreate and get to know yourself for really what you're capable of and what your advantage to helping others is going to be in this world, then you can start to, you know, I was the pitch man for a while. I used to get out there and try to, you know, at this cost, at this price, this is what you're going to get for save these dollars, and and you know, it just doesn't fly that way anymore. In the internet communities nowadays, people don't want to be sold. You know, just like when we walk into a store and somebody says, "Hey, can I help?" You know, I'm just browsing, I'm fine, I'm okay. So, you know, right away we're usually turned off by the sales pitch, and we don't see that here in MLSP. We lead, you know, with that whole approach that, if we're going to do something, we're here to help you, and that's all it is. What is your pain? What is your ow? You know, what's hurting you? I don't have a Band-Aid. I'm here to fix it. I'm here to help you fix it. You know, we can always cover up and be people that we're not, but it's when we can actually open up to others and say, you know what? I'm here for you, and I want to help you succeed, like you and Adam have done for us in the 100-Day Biz Builder Challenge. You know, my mind is just opened up completely. I'm back to that person I used to be 10 years ago. I'm 46 years old now, and you know, I've been on the scene a little bit out there with a mic in my hand doing my thing in the bar locations and such, but that's such a different community. That's you get so abused out in a community like that. And here, when you open up and go face to face with somebody, there's a lot of heartfelt communication going on. So With that being said, Justice, just before we have to let you go here, if you can touch on how Adam and you got involved with the whole 100-Day Biz Builder Challenge. I know this isn't the first one they've done at MLSP, and if you give the guys out there an idea of how often this is done and how many times it's happened in the past, and what the what kind of results did you get out of these 100-Day Biz Builder Challenges back then?
Well, interestingly, this is my first challenge as a participant or as someone that's leading it. I was familiar with the 100-Day Challenge, and Adam had a partner named Jordan Schultz. I believe he did maybe one or two of them previous to this. And Adam had participated in a 100-Day Challenge when he first got online, and or a 90-day challenge, something like that, as many people have. It's not an uncommon thing. The goal is really to condense a great deal of business growth into a short period of time, by providing a lot of clear direction, a lot of assignments, and so it's not like it's our idea, certainly, but basically, I was fortunate enough to meet Adam in person at Live the Dream 3. Okay, and that was a live event I made it out to. I just hit MMT inside My Lead System Pro. I was just breaking through. Things were just starting to move. And it was supposed to be my second live event. I was supposed to have gone to a live event for my primary company, and I had to cancel last minute because of a back injury. So this was like, I really was super excited to get out here and meet everybody. It was my first time to really tap into the community and start meeting people. And Adam was one of those people that I met. And I spent time with him briefly over the weekend, and we got to talk about some different things. And when my business kept moving forward, his business kept moving forward, and when it came time for him to approach this 100-Day Challenge, and it was that time of year, his partner formerly was promoting something different, which is great. I mean, we all need to follow our passion and promote the things we want, but it wasn't in line with this 100-Day Challenge had always been kind of attached to MLSP, and so, he looked around and he reached out to me and he said, Justice, I want to talk to you about this. I think that we would really complement each other well. We're completely different styles of marketers. And so we talked about it. We talked about what the expectations would be, what we could bring to the table, and we decided that we were going to work together on this 100-Day Biz Builder Challenge and many more to come. And then it morphed into something else. Mastery was launching inside My Lead System Pro, and Brian Finale reached out to us, and we had talked to him about the challenge, and he said we should attach this to Mastery. You deal with all really serious people, and we're like really the ball started rolling with this, and then things just fell into place, and the next step was to launch Mastery, attach the 100-Day Biz Builder Challenge to it, and get a bunch of dead serious entrepreneurs into a group and condense their learning curve into 100 days. And that's what happened. That's what is happening. It's been a blast so far. It's helped my business a great deal, just being on the other side of it, leading it. If anybody's watching this and they see challenges like this come along, don't pass them up. I mean, last year, this time, I saw this challenge, and I was just not in a good place up here, and I said, well, I don't have the time to do that. I don't have this. I mean, that's the way we talked when we're not moving our business forward, when we're not in a good place.
Good word.
And, yeah, it was interesting. I mean, that was actually the only time. It was about December of not this past December, the previous December, was about the only time when I felt like quitting in my business. I was so frustrated with the lack of results. I had put so much work in. I hadn't done the right things. I wasn't following people's advice properly. I was doing all these avoidance things, but staying really busy, And yeah, I mean, and that's why when I get on these challenges, I stress learn from my mistakes, because that stuff will keep you keep you busy. But it doesn't make you a boatload of money. It can build a foundation for a lot of money. Because I stuck with it, those things paid off long term. But they didn't serve me then, and I almost quit. And that was right around the time of the previous 100-Day Biz Builder. And you know, I didn't go into the Biz Builder, but I did pick myself up and get busy. And, you know, things just started to happen. So those that are watching this, if you see those opportunities come along, you need to take them. And when you talk about the idea of people say all the time, go to live events, right? Like, you have to go to a live events. The relationships are everything. I can't tell you what the relationships I've made through MLSP and at these live events has done from an exposure standpoint for my business. Being in this 100-day, you know, running this 100-day Biz Builder challenge with Adam. If I didn't go to that event, this wouldn't be happening right now. I'd still be, I mean, I'd be generating a lot of leads and sales and sign-ups and all that good stuff, but I'd be doing it from some bubble behind my computer, you know, where I didn't know anybody and didn't have relationships that were mutually beneficial, where we could leverage each other's skills. So that stuff is so important. I mean, this happened because of me going to a live event, and it's not going to happen for anybody without going to a live event, or at least not many. So, you know, that's where this all started.
I would love, and I'm sure Julie, you too would really wish for myself. I'm a little tied up come May, but you know, we've got this new No Excuses 4 tour in Las Vegas coming up. We're all promoting, or at least trying to get people on board to come out and see what you guys do. I know the voting's going your way pretty well a little bit, Justin. Are you going to end up on stage out there at No Excuses 4, or is it going to be a tight squeeze?
I don't believe so. I haven't been pushing it at all. I didn't. I mean, if I've gotten votes, great. If I'm even eligible there, I'm not sure.
Don't you just love the side benefits of things like that? You know, there's I think Rob Ford mentioned to me the other day, he was like in the running for some other promotion or thing that he's doing, and he goes, isn't it great when you're just out there putting the energy out there, you're doing your work, and then you realize there's some promotion you might be eligible for, and you get things along the way, and you didn't even know what was going on. I mean, that's what happens when you get busy, and I do agree with the live events. I mean, as a participant in the 100-Day Challenge, I can see it from the things that you're doing with some of the people like Ashley. I can see you taking your business to the next level, and I know it's because of the personal relationships that you've built and the people that you've come in contact with. I mean, you know, we all can see that. We can see it happening right before our eyes. So it really is an excellent thing to watch unfold.
Yeah, you want to tell us?
And all you have to do is model it.
Well, tell us a little bit about what you and Ashley are up to. I saw you, it looks like you're starting to put together some webinars on your own that I haven't seen in the past, Justice. So is this something new for you?
Well, yeah, everybody's been really helpful. I have a big announcement that I'm making on Monday, March 11th. Okay, and you know, I wanted to bring a lot of attention to it. I really have some great ideas. Part of the first part of a vision for me. You know, really laying out there a plan that I think is going to help a great deal of people with online duplication, going to give a lot of people the training they deserve when they're getting started in network marketing without, you know, having to go out and get lost in the world of info products. You know, going to give people the leverage the top earners have. Because in reality, you know, online a lot of times we see people, they're able to sponsor because they have all this value to give, right? But people can get lost in this online world and not be able to create that same value and get out there and introduce it to people and be quite as attractive as a sponsor, you know, in a network marketing company. So, you know, what I have planned is an announcement in which I'm going to share with everybody a way in which a person that started tomorrow can not only start generating leads, but can also have that kind of leverage that a top earner would have, and it's going to create duplication for people in a way that it hasn't really been done online. So leading up to something like that, you know, I can't get out and tell everybody what it is, but I wanted to show people what kind of value I was willing to bring to the table, and just a taste of the kind of things that people can, you know, are going to get exposed to. And so I figured the best way to do that and engage the audience and get things moving was to do a webinar series.
Yeah.
And so sure enough, thanks to these wonderful relationships, you know, I reached out to, you know, the people that I've worked with the most closely, and I said, listen, here's what I'm doing. You know, this is what your expertise is. I would love you to come on. You know, and we basically worked out different things that could be mutually beneficial. And it's been a win-win-win for everybody. It's been a win for me. It's been a win for the presenters that have come on as guest speakers, and it's been a super win for the audience because people have just brought serious, serious value to the table. I mean, I don't know if you guys were on Adam's prospecting webinar last night, but
no,
I mean,
I was on another. I was busy. Actually, I had a floodgate to take care of. Honestly, I had a website, and Julie knows about this. I'd constructed a social network back in December, an elk site that I put together online, and I kind of let it go, and I didn't think nothing of it. But I started watching my traffic on my host the other day, and I got out there and logged into the site as administrator for the first time in about 2 months. And lo and behold, I had 2,000 people. Now it's 2,000 people signed up as users on my site.
That's awesome.
So I've got some leads to take care of. I got flooded,
yeah,
so I just really need to do it. I mean, some people say you'll never get 2,000 leads in one day. I did it that night. I was like, oh my God. So I got some work to do. I haven't been able to make all these webinars. And, you know, at some point or another, people really do have to understand that you can go out there and learn and learn and learn, but like we say here at MLSP, sooner or later you have to go into action. And if you don't, you're going to kind of either miss the boat or you're going to get tied up, like Justice says, in all of the marketing programs and you know, accelerators that are out there that you can get involved in, and really start throwing your money into things that you might not have time to follow up on. So you got to watch yourself and kind of stick to one thing. And that's why here at MLSP we talk a lot about focus and getting people on board with that mindset that we stay on track with one thing and move with it. So Justice, I just want to kind of take it down from here. And Julie, I'm going to let you ask one more question before we wrap it up. We're hitting about that half hour time frame here, so I want to kind of shorten it up. So, Julie, if you've got any more questions for Justice before we head out, and then we'll let Justice say what he'd like.
You were just hitting on something that I wanted to ask, because I know when people get involved with a program or for example, this 100-day challenge, it's very easy to go into overwhelm mode because you have a lot of things that you're exposed to. You do have a lot of information at your fingertips. I know, you know, I can suffer from bright, shiny object syndrome, you know, real quick. I'm like, wow, I'd love to do that. Wow, I'd love to do that. And I've learned I'm learning, and I still have to practice it, how to catch myself. And, you know, I've made some commitments to my personal business, things that I have to do every day. I know Leland laughs because I'm like, you know, I only got this much time. I got to get my blog done. I'm committed to it. I must do this, and then I've got promotion to do. So everything else has got to revolve and fit around that. And then the other thing that I wanted to add to it was Facebook marketing. So I did jump on your webinar, Justice, on Ashley with that, and I did take advantage of that. And what I do is kind of pick and choose my time. I cannot make every webinar and training that's out there. So I see you moving forward and building and growing, and I want to know, you know, what kind of things that you do to manage your time, because obviously, you know, you're working on new things all the time. How do you manage that process, or what kind of boundaries do you have in place, or what kind of advice would you give to people who go into overwhelm mode? Because, you know, that's a dangerous place to be. When you're in overwhelm mode, you stop doing anything, and that doesn't produce any income.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm one thing is that I see people get these grand visions and take on big projects like what I'm doing right now, and they do that kind of stuff early on, and that's a mistake. You know, what has afforded me the opportunity to take on a big project like this is the fact that the consistent work I did over time produces, residual traffic and leads and signups in MLSP and numbers to call and signups in my primary, regardless, without maintenance. Okay, now I need to call. I mean, like I'm not a guy that is saying that people are signing up for things without me calling them. MLSP makes a lot of sales that way, but it started with building that foundation. Okay, and that foundation for me was through video traffic, and I basically said I'm not doing anything else until I can generate 50 leads a day on autopilot through video. That was it. And I didn't, from that moment, I didn't attend Facebook webinars, and I didn't do any. All I did was focus exactly. It was video SEO. You know, it was anything that had to do with those two subjects, and just moved it forward. And then it was just a process of, hey, this is how many videos I'm making this week. This is the checklist I'm putting them through. And I was doing this while working full time, so I wasn't as consistent as I would have liked to be. Sometimes I was better than others, but I, I always moved it forward. Okay, and eventually the compound effect really just kicked in. Now, today it's a little different. Time management is a whole new skill. It's a whole new skill. It's a whole new level of skill development for me that has to take place here. But for me, I focus on very, very basic things. I try to get up at the exact same time every day, okay, and get into a good morning routine. I don't check my email. I stopped checking my email regularly. I set times aside. I set alarms a lot, for appointments, for things I want to do. I have a basically there's multiple things I want to do in a day. And some of these have been put on hold during my current project, okay? The first thing I want to do is I want to exercise and do my personal development, okay? The next thing I want to do, and I have times mapped out, doesn't always, a phone call, this, that, can throw that out, can kind of throw a curveball in there. Mm-hmm. But then we go into content creation, okay? Then I want to return my emails and any Facebook messages. Then I spend a little bit of time on Facebook, interacting with people, trying to get some interaction going. Then I set time aside to call my leads, okay? And I mean, those are blocks of time that are meant for that. And again, they break down for me sometimes, but there's always I always recognize out of those my checklist what I haven't done, and sometimes I run over my time. Sometimes I get it done sooner, but right now a lot of that has been put. I haven't been into content creation right now because I have this massive thing I'm executing, and that that's okay because I've already did that, and I have something that sustains itself. At the beginning, it's total blinders. If you choose a strategy and it doesn't, and something comes along, that email comes along, that webinar comes along. Listen, I love having people attend our webinars. I'm going to push them and push them and push them and you need to have the discipline to pick and choose when and how and what's right for you and what's in line with your doing, because if you look at that MLSP leaderboard, okay, you can identify the specialty of every single person in the top 5, top 10.
Yeah, I agree with you, Justice. And what I see, most people take this course. There's the opening aspect of being the marketer, and then like you just said about focusing on the videos, that's kind of where I'm at right now, where I'm getting back to the lean and mean program of defining what it is I need to do every day and just worrying about that. And I can see myself being on these webinars and hosting them myself. It's just going to take time. It's not something that I'm prepared to sacrifice my other aspects of my business for right now until I'm prepared and ready to actually do that. And you do have to reach that pinnacle moment. So, and you just touched upon, that's my little alarm to let us know we're running out of time, folks. So I just want to sum it up here real quick. Justice, if you could give people the way to get in touch with you or where they can find you out there on the internet, we'll wrap this up for today, but if we could have you back on our show again in the future, it would be a fantastic time for us to sit down and talk with you again.
Yeah, absolutely. I thank you so much, guys, for having me on. I'd love to be on again. I'm sure we'll set something up. People can find my blog at justiceeagan.com. My YouTube channel is, well, let's see. You can just search me, Justice Eagan, on YouTube. It's a great place to subscribe because that's where, I still do produce some video content, and I love to record trainings like this and put them out there. And you're going to get, there's some sneaky stuff that I don't promote, that ends up on the YouTube channel that if you're really paying attention, you can get some good stuff on there, And then my Facebook fan page is facebook.com/Master Marketers University, which is just maybe piques a little curiosity as to what we will be talking about this Monday.
Nice job there. Nice job.
Sounds good. And Julie Becker, who is my co-host here at Mind Over Money, if you can tell the folks a little bit about where they can find you, and then I'll wrap it up, and we'll be sure that we have all these connections down below this video for anybody that misses the broadcast now. It will be posted live once we do our final post-production. So, Julie, take it away.
Sure. I'm all about generating residual income and multiple streams. So you can find me at igetpaidonline.biz. That is my blog. You can also find my Facebook fan page at www.facebook.com/julie.becker.igetpaidonline.
All right, great. And I, again, am Leland Best at bestatLast.com. You can find me out there on Facebook at the same address, facebook.com/bestatLast. So, everybody, thanks for coming today. We had a ball with this interview. And next on the show, we're going to have Adam Chandler, who is Justice Eagan's cohort in the 100-Day Challenge. We were hoping to have him today as a mutual effort interview, but it looks like he got tied up and got a little busy. So next time we come out, we hope to have him. And following that, we're going to have David DeMarco, 3-time Emmy winner from Philadelphia, who's going to come on the show and give us some insight on what his mindset was to get together his brain and come up with a way to earn 3 Emmys. So everybody, thanks for tuning in to Mind Over Money. Justice, again, thanks for stopping by. And we'll see you all on the flip side and meet you at the top.
All right. See ya. Thank you, Justice.
See you later. My pleasure.
Once again, another great episode with Leland Best of Best at Last and Julie Becker of igetpaidonline.biz, along with their special guest, Justice Eagan, who you can find at justiceeagan.com. Please take a moment to run through the information we've provided for you below this video, and don't hesitate to get in touch with either of our members that you may feel would be a good fit for your goals or your business. They would be happy to hear from you. Also, don't miss our next broadcast. You can find the schedule listed at bestnetworkmarket.com. From all of us at My Lead System Pro, see you on the inside and meet you at the top.